Hello, guys, and welcome to the show. Apologies about the live stream before. We didn't set that up properly, technical difficulties. But next best thing, we're doing this for you right now. Sorry, we can't really interact with you guys, but we still wanted to give you some news because we do have some news. We have some DCU stuff, we have some non-DCU stuff. Like we're kind of doing a retrospective on award season, on the Oscars, as well as some Alien Earth stuff, in addition to some quick hits, and talking about the new makeup artist for Clayface, in addition to a few choice films getting IMAX releases, celebrating birthdays, and what the future of the DCU can hold. And today, I am joined by Liz. Liz, how are you doing
Hello.
today?
I'm well, and even though again we can't interact with you guys, I'm assuming all of our usual pals are here with us. So hi everybody, thank you for joining us. Sorry about the technical difficulties, but stuff happens. What are you gonna do?
We gotta just roll with the punches, but
Roll on along.
here we go. And also, there's my name. If you don't know my name, that's my name. Here we are. But let's get into the news. Unfortunately, I gotta play that god awful intro once again. But
I love that intro.
but
Well, I love half of the intro.
yeah. But let's get right into that.
It doesn't seem to matter what I do. I'm always the number two.
All right, Mr. I need to paint my abs on to get nominated. You don't see Robert Downey doing that.
You're kidding.
Robert
You're
Downey.
kidding. I can't open the envelope without the.
Warner Brothers is heading back into the Matrix with a new movie in the works.
Wonder what other surprises are in store.
I want to be Bruce Wayne.
I like that. And you're gonna love me.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see
Right there.
You look ridiculous.
Well, not no more, he don't.
What, dude? I can barely understand you. Your accent's insane.
What the
Give me a hand up. Nope, I'm actually okay. Thank you very much. Oh, wow. Wow.
All right. News
Half of
time.
it's still okay. Half of it's
Well, but let's get into new stuff. The first thing that we wanted to get to, kind of do a little bit of a retrospective
I
on
really
the
like
award
these
season.
graphics. This is like award season for dummies. I think it's
Yeah,
great.
like
Very
it's great. So this was the graphic that me and Dan were talking about the other day. But it goes that there was a bit of a mix in regards to lead actress, little bit of a mix with lead actor, and then supporting just fucking destroyed everybody. I know that your preference for leading actress is only this little bit right here of
half Golden Globe.
the half of the Golden Globes.
Yeah.
But do you think this in terms of the
I-
acting part, do you think it kind of stunk, or do you think like it's something?
No, I think everybody got a piece. Again, it would be nice for the people that I felt had more of an Oscar-worthy performance to get the Oscar, but I'm still happy that they were recognized at some point throughout the award season. Again, even you
Right.
see Timothée Chalamet got something, Sebastian Stan got something. So everybody got a piece of the pie at some point. As we go further down with the graphics, I mean, we'll even see that Nosferatu got an award. So I'm happy that it was a little more spread out this year rather than one particular film just completely dominating the entire field.
Unless
So
it's
in that
for
sense,
the two
yeah.
supporting actors, but I do like these. Yeah, I agree. I like these graphics, very helpful.
Yeah.
But I mean, here we have Beck's Picture, which was definitely out of the ordinary. Like it's like you had Conclave here, you had, which deserving, you got Honora here, you got Amelia Perez, and you have Brutalist. So it's like a little bit of everything.
Well, and again, I had made the comment the other day, as far as like the popular vote, to me that falls under the Critics' Choice, and perfect example of that. Honora, Wicked, Nosferatu, The Substance, and Conclave. I mean, you want to talk about popular vote. So that's what I'm referring to. And again, look at what a broad range of awards they gave out to the different films. So
I mean,
Again,
screenplay, Conclave fucking destroyed it in terms of adapted. So that's
yeah,
pretty good. And
yeah,
Nosferatu got the SAG. Is that the SAG or is that the Critics'
that's the
Choice?
Critics' Choice. That's what I'm
Okay.
talking about. Yeah, that's the Critics'
So
Choice.
yeah. So it's definitely it's definitely, yeah, as you were saying, a nice even spread.
Yeah,
You got some like special effects stuff like
yeah. Even
Challengers, fucking
Challengers got in
that
there
one
for some
fucking
got some love,
thing.
you know?
Production design got
Yeah,
destroyed by, Wicked, Dune fucking destroying in terms of technical, but a little, even like a little bit of a spread with editing. So,
yeah.
it's a whole, it's interesting how like just Challengers
Yeah.
just kind of
I'm
drop, I
yeah, I
wouldn't
mean,
say
look for,
drop the ball, but like
yeah. But I mean, Wallace and Gromit, the Wild again, everybody got something this year. I don't think
yeah.
that it was a complete shutout for anyone, so that's really nice to see. Um, and it again, I'm not exactly pleased with the Oscar results, but so many people that I talk to are. So you know what? It is what it is. To each his own. It's all subjective. We all have our opinions about
Yeah.
everything. So, like I said, I'm just happy that everyone got a little bit of love throughout the
Right.
awards
I
season.
mean, I have an opinion that the Oscars, in terms of dead people, are run by idiots.
Well, yes, that
Because
was
apparently I didn't
disappointing. It
realize
really
this.
was.
I totally forgot about this. Olivia Hussey was also not mentioned in the in memoriam. So that makes like five people,
At least
five
five. Yeah.
relatively major people that the
Yeah.
Oscars missed in
Yeah.
terms
And
of the in memoriam.
I would like to share, apparently there has been an update with the Gene Hackman situation, only because we've been talking about it. So the most recent thing they've discovered, they did the autopsy. There's definitely been no carbon monoxide poisoning, so it was not a gas leak.
Right.
Their belief now, when putting the scene together, was that Gene was suffering from cardiac arrest. His wife ran to the bathroom to get some medication to try to help him. They believe she slipped and fell and hit her head, and that's how she ended up dead as well. The dog was in a crate, obviously just on a temporary basis, but because they had passed 9 days prior to being discovered, the dog, unfortunately, they believe passed from dehydration by being locked in that crate. So all of these different scenarios we had running in our heads,
But
now we
wasn't
have
she
more.
on the bed? I thought she was found on the bed.
She was in the bathroom in front of a space heater. So and the two of them had already kind of started to decompose, so it was evident that they had been there for quite some time.
Right.
uh, but again, just to give us a little more, I don't want to say closure as of yet, because they haven't officially said this is exactly what happened, but we're getting closer to this just being
Right.
around accidental tragedy and not some, murder suicide like some people were speculating, things like that. So I did want to bring that up because I heard that today.
Yeah. But yeah, it just this is what it is about the whole award season. But moving on from the general award season to the Oscars, this is something that's interesting in terms of the viewership. The viewership in
Yeah,
the
it was
last
interesting.
11 years has been pretty much cut in half.
Yeah.
Um, Now 2021 makes sense because of COVID. There
COVID.
was
Yep.
only 10 million, but this year barely got to 20 million,
Yeah.
which is, what do you think of that? Do you think that's genuinely
Uh,
people are just kind of sick of the Oscars, or do you think that's like
no.
just cable like
Yeah, well,
stuff?
no, again, I think streaming is making it more difficult. So now we are nominating streaming original films and projects, whereas not everyone has access. Oh, theaters are global, right? You've got a theater everywhere in the world. You've got a local theater, you've got a major, Cineplex, you can access films when they're played in a theater, but when they're streaming, if you don't have these subscription services, it makes it difficult. So I think that's a big part of it, is we're really limiting access. So again, if I haven't seen or heard of 50%, 75% of the films that are nominated, why would I tune in? it's of no interest to me. I don't know these people. I don't know
Yeah,
these
most people
stories.
are like, I saw so many comments are like, what is an aura? I've never
My
heard of
mom
that
had
movie.
never heard of it. My mom had never heard of it. She asked me about it today. She goes, "Oh, I guess I'm going to have to watch it." I said, "There are other ones that you haven't seen that would be better for you to watch than that." I just, because again, it's, to me, it's not best picture. And again, that's fine. It's my opinion, but I think they do themselves a disservice. Like, people were kind of saying in the beginning, especially, folks in Hollywood, before streaming became so popular
Mhm.
and so lucrative. And they got so much freedom from these streaming studios to do things that they probably wouldn't get to do in the other major studios that were, going to theaters. But at the time, everybody was like, well, there should be two separate award shows. There should be a streaming service award show, and there should be a theatrical release award show, which I don't necessarily disagree with. However, a lot of those streaming services are also they also have theatrical releases as well. So we have to find a happy medium where everyone is provided more access to be able to see these films, especially with the smaller ones, the documentaries, the shorts, the international. But again, to me, I think it's just because it's getting harder and harder for people to access these things, and we just don't have that kind of time anymore either. Like, I'm very fortunate with my schedule. I'm able to see multiple movies a week, but not everybody has that luxury. So if I can't access it from home, or if my theater's not showing it, those are the two main options. What are you left with? So they've got to figure it out for sure. That's
Yeah,
just my opinion.
it's a whole like it's just an unfortunate situation for like the film side, but it's just
Yeah.
something that we have to just kind of just do better
I
in the
w-
future about it.
I would be curious to see what like the Golden Globes numbers were, and again, like maybe or like the Emmys or the Grammys numbers. I wonder if any of those have changed at all, because people are still watching TV, but again, you've got the streaming services and all that. But a lot of the streaming service have like collaborations with certain networks. So like you can see everything on like from Comedy Central and CBS and MTV on Paramount. You can see everything from FX, and then like live TV on Hulu. You can see live TV on Paramount. You can see live TV. I don't know about the other ones, but like some of them all have partnerships with other studios. So it's
Hmm.
interesting. It would be interesting to me to compare the numbers for all the other award shows as well in
Right.
the other for the other mediums, for the other genres.
Yeah, I just think it's a very weird thing, but it's also it could be also people just being like, I'm sick of Hollywood like jerking themselves off every year and
Well, I
like
also think, people, we got a lot going on right now. Like, the world is on fire, like it's just, I just don't think it's a priority as much
right,
anymore
that too.
either,
That too.
you know?
Not as huge, and people just aren't seeing movies as much anymore, even streaming movies. It's just a whole weird, strange predicament, and it's just
Yeah.
like, this is not adding to it at all either.
Yeah.
But moving on to slightly better news in terms of going from movies to TV. Apparently, Guy Ritchie has a new crime series that
This is
is
wild
coming
to me. I
out.
can't believe it's a series. Like,
And
and
it's
I
got
can't believe like these actors are in a series. Like, I never thought
yeah.
I'd see the day. It's pretty wild.
So it's essentially, uh, another crime family drama kind of thing. Got Tom Hardy, got Pierce Brosnan, Helen Mirren. Um, Great cast. I'm really intrigued. Parents finally bit the bullet and got Paramount Plus,
Nice.
so I'm now able to watch this. But it definitely looks really exciting. Are you definitely are is this like I know your schedule in terms of television is a little
Yeah,
bit
television's a little
off
better, a little
kilter now,
looser.
but is
Yeah.
this something you would definitely want to add to the list, or you're like, no, fuck it, I'm gonna immediately watch it when it comes out because it looks that
Um,
good?
It looks no, it does look great. The problem again, but the problem for me with the streaming services is I do have access to almost all of them, but it's one of those like if like the majority of my shows is on one streamer, I forget about what's on the other ones because I'm just watching everything on that one stream. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
there like there are probably 10 to 15 different shows that I watch on Hulu exclusively, maybe 1 or 2 on Peacock, maybe 5 on Apple TV Plus, maybe, so it's difficult to like keep track and like, oh crap, that one's out, or oh, there's a new episode there, because they don't like give you a full list when you sign on to your television, right? So I want to see it for sure. It looks great. I love the cast. I adore the cast. It's just a matter of when I actually remember to get to it.
Right. But yeah,
So
this looks
it
like
looks great.
a very intriguing show, and I'm stoked for when it does eventually come out. But yeah,
Yeah.
good stuff. I mean, it looks kind of like generic crime family kind of stuff, but I'm sure the actors involved will help like push that up a little bit farther than what you would think.
Yeah.
So, I'm cool with it. Let's go Tom Hardy, let's go Pierce
Yeah.
Brosnan, let's go Helen Mirren.
And
So
I will
hell
say
with it.
Paramount Plus, they do a really good job advertising at Comic-Cons and stuff. So it'd be really cool if these guys came around this year or possibly next year to announce season 2, if there is going to be a season 2. So that would be really cool. I'd love the chance to freaking meet Tom Hardy, for goodness sakes. But yeah, so I was just shocked when at the end it was like, oh, series. I was like, series. I'm like, this isn't a movie. Like, what? It's gonna be
Yeah,
pretty intense.
it's going to
Cool.
be, as you guys probably saw, it's going to be streaming March 30th at the end of the month. So, and it's going to be here before you know it. So,
Yeah.
start watching, guys. But in terms of series, although going from one streaming service to another, we got a little bit more footage in regards to the upcoming
Ugh,
Alien Earth series by Noah
this is
Hawley.
awesome.
And it
This is
looks like
awesome.
Timothy Oliphant is going to be a part of it. And
Fantastic.
we did get during the Oscars. I remember this, like Hulu had like they were advertising all of their shows, and then we got more footage
Okay.
for this.
Okay.
So this looks awesome. Like, I mean, I was already gonna fucking watch the show. Like, guys, you didn't have
100%.
to
Well, and
throw in Timothy Oliphant there. Like,
I
guys, I was
mean,
already gonna
well,
watch it.
tell us in the chat, gang. To me, I think he looks like an android. I think he's going to be playing an android, but let me know what you think in the chat.
We can't
Whew,
see it, but like after this gets uploaded. But
I'm trying to play it off, John. But let us know in the chat what you think. I think he's either an android or maybe he's like a doctor behind the androids or something. He looks
maybe.
he looks a little sinister. He looks a
He
little.
looks older than he is. I know
Oh
he
well,
has kind
yeah,
of
he
has like
looks like an
graying
old
hair,
man
but
for
here he has
sure.
like white hair. So
Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
really cool. And I
Very
like the
exciting.
quote here, like it's in space, no one can hear you scream. They're kind of doing the opposite of that. When the monsters come, all you can do is scream. So
Mm,
that's kind of a little play on words a little bit. But yeah, Timothy Oliphant, like God, Noah Hawley,
he-
you're already doing an alien show. You didn't
he's
have
the
to add
best.
Timothy Oliphant. It's fine. Like, come on.
He's the best.
But sticking the course with Alien Earth, it adds a shit ton of guest stars. Now, I don't
Yeah.
know like any of these guest stars. Maybe you
Yeah,
do,
I'm
so
not
I'm curious.
particularly familiar. I think that maybe the gal I've seen in things, but I'm not particularly
So
familiar.
these are all of the names. You got Risha Morjani, Karen Aldridge, sounds kind of familiar.
Oh,
Enzo
Never Have I Ever.
Salenti.
That's how I know her. I know her from Never Have I
Okay.
Ever. That's a great show, gang. You guys should watch that. It's on Netflix.
Enzo
Fucking
Salenti
stunning.
or Max Reinhardt, Amir Buttress,
Boutros?
Victoria Masoma, Tom Moya, Andy Yu. I know Michael Smiley. He's been in a whole bunch of
So,
stuff. He
so
was
you just have the whole cast of Fargo, apparently. Okay.
Jamie
That's
Bisping
funny.
and Tanapol Chuksrita. I'm sorry if I mispronounced any of these, but
It's not bad.
so they,
Cool,
they're
man.
all joining the cast. The Sydney Chandler seems to be, the main our Ellen Ripley, I guess. But it joins a very illustrious cast of Alex Lothar, Timothy Oliphant, as we just mentioned, Essie Davis, Samuel Blinken, Babu Sase, David Rysdal, Adrian Edmondson, Adarsh Gurav, Jonathan Ajayi, Arana James, Lily Newmark, Diam Camille, and Mo Burrell. So this is going to be,
Pretty packed.
it takes place in 2120, and it's going to be 5 corporations, Prodigy, Wayland Yutani, Lynch, Dynamic, and Threshold, wield the power of nations and proprietary advancements in technology, provide the promise of a new tomorrow. So we can already expect a lot of anti-corporation stuff, which is cool with us. But
I mean,
I don't
interesting that it's
know.
only 100 years in the future. Like, we really think we're going to be battling aliens, but I mean, I guess they're going with the timeline from the films too, so that's what
Yes.
they're gonna do.
But yeah,
It's just
I'm
kind of
super
funny to think about it
stoked.
now that we're here. Yeah. Oh
Super
God. Yeah.
stoked for the show. Like, I love Noah Hawley. What he did with Legion is excellent. I've heard Fargo is also amazing. I need to watch the show, but
Yeah.
Legion is
Same.
just the best thing to ever come out of Fox X-Men. But it's the greatest comic book show we've ever gotten or will ever get, because nothing can top Legion. Legion was just
Oh.
excellence at its peak, and just one of the greatest shows I've ever watched, period.
Hey, that's nice.
So Noah Hawley, I'm in it for the long haul. I'm in it for the long haul, my guy. Let's go. I don't know. I don't think there's been a release date yet. Again, please tell us in the live chat how how wrong we are. No, it has a release date. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's God, it's so exciting.
That's gonna be great.
I'm super stoked for this. This just I'm like, it's so funny. Like, it's polar opposites in terms of like alien stuff. Like, I had no fucking hope for Alien Romulus. I didn't care. I didn't want to watch it. I don't like the director. It just looked like, oh, this just looks like Alien and Aliens mashed together.
I mean, it was okay,
Here
but they
you
made
go.
like all the wrong decisions in that film. So yeah.
I mean, that sounds about right. Fede Alvarez. That could be the tagline for his career. Makes all the wrong decisions.
No, I just meant as far as like what you would do in that situation. It was almost like a horror movie in the sense that like every single decision the characters made was the wrong one. It was like, why would you do that? But
Yeah, that's fair. But we are gonna be going on to, like, quote unquote movie of the week. But well, Liz wasn't here yesterday, but we both really wanted to talk about this movie. So and it's the newest forget I think it's Briarcliff Entertainment, but they were talking. We both wanted to talk about kind of a depressing film, maybe. But my dead friend Zoe, we wanted to talk about this little film. Why don't you, well, ladies first? Why don't you talk about this movie first?
yeah, sure. So it's actually based on a true story, based on the director's experience in the military. It's interesting to me because the director obviously is a man and his two buddies are male. So it's interesting to me that he turned the story and made the main characters female. I'm not really sure what the decision was behind that, but it was definitely interesting. I just want to pull up the cast so that I get everybody's names right here. So we've seen oh, why am I not? I'm not going to say her name right.
Sonequa Martin
Yeah.
Green. I
We've
think her
seen
name.
Sonequa Martin Green. We know Natalie Morales. We know Ed Harris. We know Morgan Freeman.
Gloria Rubin.
Utkarsh. Yeah, Gloria Rubin, Utkarsh, Budkar. Oh my God, I'm
I
totally
know his
killing
face.
name.
I've seen him in stuff.
He's from Pitch Perfect. He's in
Yeah.
Ghosts. I'm really happy to see him. He was in Free Guy. I'm really happy to see him in more productions and getting hired for different projects because he's really, really great. I think he's a wonderful actor. But
Whoa, those are
the
some
entire premise
long-ass
is
earrings.
yeah.
Goddamn.
So the entire premise is Sonequa is struggling because Zoe passed away. Her friend Zoe passed away. We find her in a situation where she lost her job because of an accident, and the court basically was like, you need to get your mind right. You're clearly dealing with something. You need to go to group therapy and work this out. Morgan Freeman is her therapist, or the group counselor, so to speak. Yeah. So he says, listen, you don't participate, you don't speak. We have no idea why you're here. We have no idea what you're going through. And the whole point of this is, to build trust, to lean on one another. I can't sign off on your court paperwork because you're not doing the work. Meanwhile, on top of that, her grandfather, Ed Harris, is struggling with dementia. He lives on his own. Her mother
Alzheimer's
is,
specifically.
oh,
Sorry,
yes,
there is the
her,
distinction,
yeah,
and I don't want people to
that's
be like,
fair. No, that's
actually,
fair.
yeah.
That's fair. Her mother travels for work, so she can't be there to look after her grandfather, and kind of leans on her to take over while she's away. But again, she's going through her own internal stuff. She can't, and she hasn't been able to express to anybody what she's going through, what she's suffering, why she's suffering. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
her dead friend Zoe is in the background. And by the way, I don't know about you, about how you felt, John, but the whole movie, I'm like, Zoe's a real bitch. Like I
But
was kind of
when you
getting
get
annoyed because I was like,
to
you're
the
so fucking rude. Like,
but the
it's
thing is, when
it's
you get to the end, it makes sense as to
yeah,
why. Obviously, we don't
yeah,
want to
yeah.
like
Well,
spoil
it's
that, but
yeah, it's Sonequa beating herself up through Zoe, through Zoe's manifestation, about how things went down between them as friends and what she believes led Zoe to her death. So it's, I wouldn't say it's a comedy by any means, but
it's a very dark. It's like a
it's a
drama. It's a
lighthearted drama.
dramedy.
You know, it's a
Yeah.
dramedy. I will say the one thing that I really, really appreciated at the end of the film was they treated it like, not to say it like this, but they treated it like an Angel Studios production, where at the end they kind of explained why the director wanted to share this story. He was trying to commemorate and memorialize his two friends that he had lost in the service, to suicide. And they even did put up a QR code so that people, you know, you can donate tickets so that more people, maybe veterans groups, maybe senior citizens, can see this film. So I thought that was very interesting. But then they also shared the fact that almost pretty much every actor that, including Morgan Freeman, pretty much every extra, every actor that wasn't a well-known name, served in the military. So I thought that was really cool that they hired pretty much exclusively veterans for the
Mhm.
film. And you know, it's really important to shed light on things like this. And they did say at the end as well that the number of suicides had gone down thanks to VA programs
Mhm.
and veterans programs. But obviously, given the climate, and given things going on in the government, they're concerned that that number is going to start going up as people are denied aid and denied help. So again, it's why it was so important that they put that QR code up there so that other people can share this film and make people aware of what our veterans go through on
Mhm.
a daily basis. So I enjoyed it. I really did. And you know, you cry, you laugh, you know, it's a heavy one, but
Yeah.
it's a good story to put out there. I mean, and again, look at the Rotten Tomatoes score, for goodness sakes. Like, it touched a lot of people for sure.
Yeah. Um, I I thought it was I also thought I agree. I thought it was great. I thought all the performances felt real and genuine.
Yeah.
This was the second half of my Ed Harris a thon
Right. Yep.
because
Yep.
I
Me
watched
too.
Riff Raff
Riff
before
Raff.
this.
Yep. Exactly. Me
And
too.
then I watched so it's like Ed Harris, way to go, I guess.
Yeah.
But
And Ed
I
Harris marrying an African American in both
yes,
films, which was so
specifically Ed Harris
it
marrying an
was so
African
funny. Yeah.
American woman.
Yeah. Like, what are the odds? But yeah,
Interesting.
pretty cool. Pretty cool.
That's fine. We support here at Oh So Curious. We support interracial marriages.
We sure do. And our veterans.
Gay,
Yeah.
straight,
Yeah.
lesbian, interracial. I don't know anything. Just
To each their
not
own, man.
illegal. Just
Yeah.
anything but illegal stuff.
Yeah,
But
that's
yeah.
fair. That's fair.
Um.
But you know, I mean, this film really just brings home the fact that, like, you never know what someone's going through.
Right.
But also, you can't expect people to to be there to support you, to help you, if you don't share that and share your struggles, you know. So it's important to talk to people, it's important to reach out, it's important to say, you know what, I'm not okay, and I've got something going on, because all we need is that little bit of understanding to completely change the game, you know what I mean. So I'm happy that that message definitely shone through with this film for sure. So
Yeah, but
check
even
it out, you guys.
and the thing is, what I like about it, it's not just a message movie.
Yeah.
It's genuinely a great movie, but also has a great, like, because some people just get so hung up on the message, especially I don't know if this guy has directed anything else. I know this was also a Legion M production, which is a
Yes.
production company
Crowdfunded.
where you can
Yeah.
own a stake in it. It's like owned by the fans,
Right.
so they can, like, cater to different things. But yeah, I think but yeah, I thought the performances were great. I thought it was well paced. I was like intrigued all the way through. It didn't like feel like a cheap movie. Like it felt real, and it felt like the emotions were there. I mean, I was crying by the end of it,
Yeah.
but even with all of that, the lead up to that point was well executed. Um I'm putting the spoiler warning just in case, because I mean we kind of spoiled the
Yeah,
ending,
they do
the
talk about
twist.
suicide. They do, yeah.
But like the scene, honestly, it's actually a fun fact. It's this scene right here of, ironically the one that they put right there.
Yeah.
Of like her and Zoe, quote unquote, her ghost in
Yeah.
the cemetery was very, very well executed and very well done. And I mean, Ed Harris and Morgan Freeman, the bigger stars, have very small
Right.
roles, but even then, like, they still have that impact. And I liked Martin Green's chemistry with the actors who from Ghost, who I can't pronounce, and I'm not even gonna try.
Right.
But I like him a lot. Like,
I love him. Yeah, I really
I've
like
seen
him.
him in like I don't watch Ghost. My parents watch it.
Ghost is great.
I tried watching an episode. I'm like, this is not funny. But
You're
and
no
it's funny
fun,
because I
John.
like him. I like Rose McIver. She was in iZombie, which was a great
I
show.
met her. She's a lovely lady.
But couldn't get into that one. But even with that, I think he's a good actor. I think he did a good job here.
Yeah.
There is some like conveniences here and there, but like, he's just this random stranger she meets in a cemetery just so happens to be the
Right.
manager of
Yeah.
the
I mean, that's a
fucking
little hallmarky. Yeah.
Shady Oaks retirement home that they want to send Ed Harris to. So it's like, all right.
Well, so I will say the director's name is Kyle Houseman Stokes. He served in the U.S. Army. He was a paratrooper in the U.S. Army. He has directed a series of shorts.
Right.
A lot of them all seem to be around, like veteran type stories. And in fact, My Dead Friend Zoe started out as a short called Merritt and Zoe, which are the names of the two leading actresses, characters. But he also did a TV series called Meals Ready to Eat. There was 6 episodes there. So it seems as though a lot of his stuff is, based on military stories and our servicemen and women. So pretty interesting background there from him.
Yeah, but yeah, guys, go watch this movie. I know, because like there's a lot of like shitty fucking ass movies, shitty ass blockbusters, but go watch this. This is so much better and so much more engaging.
It's an easy watch. Like, again,
it's like
like
98 minutes. It's
Yeah.
I know in this day and age it's harder to go to a theater. It costs money. I understand that, but like if you're looking to have like a good emotional experience, something a little bit heavier but not like too heavy, I think this is a good watch. And overall a very, very, very well done film. So yeah, I think just go watch it. Both of us highly recommend. I'd probably give it like a 9 out of 10. Like, genuinely, I think it was that great. Very, very well done. I really loved it. But before I start crying, let's go into the quick hits, guys. We and the quick hits are going to be quick this time.
Super
there we go. Oh my god, it's too. Okay. So first things first, Najah 2, we were just talking about this the other day, has now crossed $2 billion at the worldwide box office. First non-Hollywood film to do so, and it only took a little bit more than a month. What are your thoughts on this?
I mean, good for them. I have seen it on my theater's schedule. I was curious. I haven't seen a film like this in a while, so I was kind of hoping to check it out, but unfortunately it doesn't look like, because again, scheduling and all that. I would like to see it, so good for them. That's great.
Yeah, I think Najat, I know, I think one of our audience, I think Caleb might have watched it. He said it was really good. It is kind of in theaters. It's not on any streaming. Maybe you could find it like on a not so great site. But congrats to them. Just fucking poor Inside Out 2. Not even for a year they've been the top animated movie, and then fucking this Chinese movie just fucking decimates.
It happens sometimes, you know.
But yeah, go support maybe the first one. The first one is on Roku for free.
Oh,
so go watch that one, and then hopefully you can find the sequel and watch that one as well and support the 2 billion that this has done. But speaking of animated films, we did touch upon this when we were talking about our Oscars talk, but we have finally reached the point where Disney has gone 3 consecutive years without winning Best Animated Film at the Oscars, and this is the longest streak in the history of Best Animated Feature to have done so for Disney. So what are your thoughts on this, Liz? Do you like this? Do you hate this? Or are you kind of indifferent about it?
I mean, I'm indifferent as far as like support for Disney. Like, too bad, so sad. You can't win them all. But again, I wasn't exactly a fan of Pinocchio winning that year. I'm not a fan of Flo winning this year. So I mean, again, it is what it is. It happens.
I mean, I can't comment on Flo, but I thought The Boy and the Heron was great, and I thought Pinocchio was absolutely unabashedly excellent. So thank God, and it's not even going to like DreamWorks. The highest one out of all these is Studio Ghibli. So it's like, oh, it's nice that, Hayao Miyazaki's grand return after his supposed retirement, he managed to snag another Oscar. And Studio Ghibli, in addition to that, after they came back, I don't know if they went bankrupt or something, but they, came back into the fold. And, Guillermo del Toro being the GOAT. Fucking love Del Toro. So I can't fucking wait for Frankenstein with Oscar Isaac cosplaying as MJ. So that should be fun. But yeah, good stuff. Fuck you, Disney. Anyway, in terms of going, there's not a great segue for this. David Arquette is coming back for Scream 7. What are your thoughts on this?
I'm going to meet him this month, so I'm thrilled. I am meeting almost every member of the Scream cast from past and present. So I'm all about it. I love it. I love these movies. I don't care what anybody says. I can't wait.
I think this is absolutely one of the most brain dead fucking stupid moves you could possibly imagine. Luckily I have boycotted this franchise after how horrendous Scream 5 was.
I'll let you know how it goes, John.
This just screams desperation with especially bringing back the actor who
Give
played
the fans
Roman,
what
Matthew
they want,
Lillard.
baby.
But it's just like they're fucking.
Come back as like a flashback, just like.
I mean, I hope that's what the case is. I hope it's like similar to Roman and Matthew Lillard.
I'm gonna meet Skeet too, and Matthew Lillard and Jamie Kennedy.
I hope it's a flashback. I hope it's like or a hallucination or something. But this is, they're desperate.
Dale's still alive, so maybe she'll have flashbacks about Dewey. Maybe, who knows? This is.
It just still at the end of the day. Screams does because it's like what can they parody at this, but what can they satirize at this? There's nothing left to satirize in terms of this goddamn franchise. Like
they can satirize themselves. I don't know.
That's the only way I could see it. But even the last one kind of meta made fun of themselves.
Yeah, that's
even
true.
Then,
that's true. That was a reach for sure. The last one.
It's like, oh, we're doing franchises, and then also Jason Takes Manhattan. Sure, okay. But yeah, brain dead move. But I do like David Arquette. Like I thought like one of the few good things about Scream 5 is it gave him a good death. Maybe he can go back to wrestling. Who knows?
He probably will.
Next up, again, no good segue for this, but Cosmo Jarvis. No idea who you are, but he's been cast in the Odyssey because Who hasn't been cast in Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey at this point?
Well,
I've
apparently
been
everybody that's
cast in
going to
The
be in
Odyssey.
the Alien
Announcement,
series.
guys. But thoughts on this?
Cool. I'm looking forward to it. I like this story. I remember the story from school. I love Christopher Nolan. I love the cast so far. It's gonna be amazing. Maybe an Oscar contender, probably. So yeah, it'll be great.
Hell yeah. This I really, really, really want to know your thoughts on, because I know you have strong opinions about this. But apparently, Nick Pauley, who played Dance Pool, was with Robert Downey Jr. and Kieran Culkin at the 2025 Oscars.
When he came out on stage, I was like, is that the same guy? And I mean, at least, listen, I'm happy that they at least tapped the same guy and they didn't hire somebody else who's not really associated with the film. However, Ryan Reynolds, and I'll take this to my grave, you could have done the dance. You should have done the dance. I'm disappointed you didn't do the dance. But good for this guy.
I didn't even know he showed up. I was kind of going in and out between like the actual ceremony and my live stream.
It was so quick. He was just in and out. Yeah.
Okay. Just like Kevin.
But good for him. Make that money, buddy.
But very last thing in regards to the quick hits. Apparently, Ben Stiller wanted to get Barack Obama.
I think that would have been
voice
amazing.
Of Lumen
I think that would have been amazing.
In Severance.
Amazing.
But he had to pass on it. He's like, so Ben Stiller was like, I get an email back from ex-president Barack Obama. Hey, Ben.
We still refer them as presidents. Thank you.
Hey, Ben. Big fan of the show. Love season 1. Can't wait for season 2. Don't think I have time in my schedule to make this happen. That would have been funny.
It would have been so funny.
That would have been great. But I mean, I don't watch the show, but I'll take your word for it that it was amusing.
I haven't watched the show yet. It's on my list, but for people who maybe haven't watched the show yet either, my radio show talks about it often, and they say it's one of those, like, you need to watch it week to week rather than binging it all at once, because it gets very, very repetitive, I guess. So just kind of like the pacing kind of is a turnoff after a couple of episodes in a row. So now knowing this, that's how I'm going to watch it. And there you are. So, but yeah, I think that would have been hilarious. Probably would have brought more people to check it out, but
yeah. But unfortunately, I'm very sorry, Liz. That's the end of Quick Hits. But now, so thanks for watching the news side of things. But we are gonna be, we're not gonna be ending it. So calm down. We still have DC stuff to do. Thanks for watching. We just have to remind you guys to fucking like, to comment and subscribe and do all the things and click the bell and all that shit.
Click the bell.
On to DCU Daily. Hello, welcome to DCU Daily. I'm John. Hello. I got to do like a fancy intro because Dan yells at me that I don't do the intro when I'm hosting, so I have to do the intro. So hello, I'm John. DCU Daily. Also, Liz is here. Liz.
Hello.
Although her name is spelled wrong in the credits, so I don't know why that's no, in the side panel. You can't see it. I can see it. When I click on the thing, your name is spelled L-I-Z instead of L-I-Z-Z.
2 Z's, gang. 2 Z's. Say it all the time. 2 Z's.
Yeah. Anyway. But she just wants to be different. She's, I have to have 2 Z's because I'm more important.
It's been 2 Z's since I was in the 2nd grade, gang. Okay? We're talking 3 decades of this, baby. Sorry.
Anyway. But we just want to get into some DC stuff, mainly me talking and Liz just agreeing with me or disagreeing.
Nodding and that
just nodding, just smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave.
Sounds good.
But the first thing we want to get into is the apparent slate that some of these are for sure. We were talking about this.
I still feel like this is so far away. I still feel like July and August are so far away.
Better stay.
Especially
anyway.
Peacemaker.
Anyway, so
I just honestly, after seeing, John Cena is now the heel again. That boy needs a spray tan desperately. James Gunn, can you make a phone call? Because oh my goodness, he's whiter than a sheet of paper. My lord.
Nobody's whiter than me. Anyway, but we did do a video on this like a month or 2 back, I think.
Yeah.
Where I guessed on when certain things were going to come out based on who was attached to the movie, what their priorities were, this and that. But obviously things change all the time. Some things are for sure, but some things are guesses. So keep that in mind for this.
Right.
This is for sure. 2025. These are for sure. We got the tail end of Creature Commandos, but that was technically started in 2024, so that doesn't count into 2025. But we're getting Superman July 11th, and we're getting Peacemaker sometime in August. We don't know when. We don't have a specific date yet, but it might be. I assume it's going to be mid-August, to like give some time to ride the Superman train, but not like right on top of each other. But yes,
well, and I will say, everybody that's still doubting Superman's numbers, my best friend reached out to me and he was like, the kids want to see Superman so bad, we're adding it to the list of the movies we're going to check out this year. So that's 5 people going to see that movie already, in addition to all of us. So I think we're gonna see some big numbers here, people.
Yeah.
People are excited. People are looking.
I think people are excited, and the thing is, I think you also have people that are going to hate watch it. They're going to spend their hard-earned money and hate watch it. So it's like, make money off the haters, guys. Let's do it.
That's on you, boo. That's on you.
But Peacemaker is interesting. I didn't love the first season, as Lizz perfectly showcased as to why. I'm like, I can't find a word for why I don't love it as much as everyone else does. Frat boy humor. I don't mind it in like small doses, but when there's an entire show,
you can't build
surrounding it.
Yeah.
It can be a lot. And the thing is, I don't hate the show. I think it's like a solid like 6.5. It's
enjoyable.
So it's fun. I love John Cena. I was even okay. So I put my worries to bed about Vigilante, because he's barely that dude is not Vigilante. They could have made an original character for the show and it would have been better. Because that dude is not Adrian Chase. Because Adrian Chase is essentially DC's Punisher. So making him just like this comic relief character, that was part of the reason why I didn't watch it for so long. But Freddie Stromo was just so funny, and he was so likable, and he was such a fucking dweeb, but he was like this weird heart. It was great. He was great. Love to see it, but it's not, again, not a perfect show, but there were some bits and pieces that I liked. But we're getting season 2, or whatever the fuck it's going to be called. If it's season 2 or Peacemaker, the DCU one, Peacemaker. This one takes place in whatever it's going to be called.
Here we go again.
Here, Peacemaker, or me and Dan want it to be called The Peacemaker. So like Suicide Squad and The Suicide Squad, Peacemaker and The Peacemaker.
I mean, shoot James Gunn an email. You never know.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know his email. Guys, post below.
I'm sure you can find it. I'm sure you can just quick little Google. I'm sure you can find it.
I'm sure I could find him on LinkedIn or something. Anyway, but going into 2026,
and he seems to respond to every request. So why not?
I will say I love this logo for Supergirl. It's kind of going off like the punk rock feel that was revealed.
I kind of got like it's like 80s arcade vibes.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna be James Gunn, he was kind of like vague about it at first, but now he's straight up confirmed it's gonna definitely come out before Supergirl. So people are saying early 2026. So it's probably not going to take place in the winter. So people are saying spring. So I would imagine it's probably going to come out in like, at the very least, April, maybe May, but they maybe want to keep some space between Lanterns and Supergirl. So I would imagine like April 2020. That's just a guess from me. I'm not saying that's confirmed. I'm just saying that's a guess. But then Supergirl is going to be coming out in June of 26th of 2026, 6/26/26. Very easy to remember. And then we're going to be getting Clayface on September 11th. So, and we have some more news in regards to that. We have some more news in regards to Supergirl too, so get stoked about that. 2027. Some of this is alleged.
Fingers crossed, gang. Fingers crossed.
Batman, the only one that's definitely confirmed is Batman Part 2, but the rumblings and tumblings about Sergeant Rock and Luca Guadagnino being attached, some are saying that it is going to start filming not soon, but like soon, to the point it'll come out in 2027. But this isn't confirmed, and Waller, definitely not 2027. They're still trying to figure out the writer's room, so I don't think that's going to come out in 2027. As the only thing we've gotten is like we've only got rumor mill in regards to Waller coming out.
Well,
so
Well, our Pats has already made the comment that he's going to be an old man by the time Batman Part 2 comes out. So what about poor Viola Davis, for goodness sakes? Like, my goodness, like just do it. Just do it. I'm looking forward to the Waller show. I want to see the Waller show. Give
Yeah.
me the Waller show.
But yeah,
I
this
don't
is
know.
all alleged. Batman Part 2 is the only thing confirmed, definite confirmed for 2027.
Okay.
Then if for 2028,
No, this is too far ahead.
this
We
is too
shouldn't-
far
I
ahead.
mean,
The only thing that's
too far
confirmed
ahead.
is Dynamic Duo for June 30th. Everything else is alleged. None of this. I mean, The Authority is definitely not coming out in 2028. Like, I will say that 100%. Paradise Lost, unlikely. Batman, unlikely. So yeah, this is just rumor, but the only thing 100% confirmed for Dynamic Duo is Dynamic Duo for June 30th. So, and that's going to be the quasi animated, like stop motion, animatronic, blah blah blah. Like, it's doing all sorts of strange and interesting um ways to animate the film. So that's going to be exciting. It's going to focus around Dick Grayson and Jason Todd. We don't know if it's going to be an Elseworld story or not, but the more they talk about it, it seems like it's going to be an Elseworld story. So whatever they decide to do, I'm stoked for it because I like the animation style that they're going for, where it's like a mix of a million different things. So that's really cool. Then for 2029, allegedly, we got
There's
Booster Gold, Swamp Thing, and Teen
crazy,
Titans, and an
crazy,
untitled movie. But
crazy to be
that's
talking that this early
but
about
this
those
is
things.
all this none of this is coming in. Well, it could be like if they figure shit out at a certain point, then yeah, maybe. But with James Mangold being, iffy on like, I don't know if I want to do it or not. Booster Gold not having a showrunner. Apparently, the showrunner that did want to be involved was Danny McBride, but he backed out. I don't know if that's true or not. That's just the rumor I've seen. Teen Titans.
Yeah.
James Gunn did confirm Anna Naguera is writing the second draft of the script. And then an untitled movie. We might be getting another movie in 2029. But this is all pretty much the only confirmed years that we have are 2025, 2026, and then one of the movies for 2027. Nothing else is confirmed. We just have Sergeant Rock, Waller, Batman, Brave and the Bold, The Authority, Dynamic Duo, Paradise Lost, Booster Gold, Swamp Thing, Teen Titans. Those are all in the bracket, in like the stuff we might be getting, but nothing major yet. So thoughts on all of this? Are you excited? Are you like super stoked about any of these projects,
Listen, you
confirmed
you
or
know
not
I'm looking
confirmed?
forward to Batman Part 2. I'm looking forward to Waller. I'm looking forward to to Peacemaker, to Superman. I'm looking, all the big hits for sure. But again, I don't even want to talk about 2027, let alone 2028 and 2029, because I just think so much can change in that span of time and that breadth. And the fact that they're even saying like, oh yeah, we're committed to X, Y, and Z. I'm like, no, you're not. And don't say that you are, because shit can go down at any moment. I mean, we've seen this with Marvel itself. You can't commit to an actor so far in advance, and then, oh no, they did an oopsie and now we have to recast. And so I don't like talking about those projects, but the stuff coming up that in real time that we know for a fact, we're getting Superman in July, we're getting Peacemaker in August. Those two things right now are what I'm looking forward to the most.
Yeah. But in terms of stuff that is confirmed that we're getting in
Well, in
2026
Lanterns, yeah, I
and
know.
2027,
Yeah.
that apparently IMAX releases are confirmed for the Batman Part 2 and Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, according to the slate that includes, the Odyssey. Well, of course, the Odyssey, because Christopher Nolan's like, you better fucking put it in IMAX, motherfuckers. Like upcoming Star Wars and Marvel films, and
Yeah.
Project Hail Mary. That one I'm excited for. That one's Drew Goddard and Chris Miller and Phil Lord production. So that's exciting. But yeah, it seems like we are going to be getting a Supergirl one tomorrow for next year, and then Batman Part 2 the year after that. What are your What are your thoughts on this? Is
I
this
mean,
a
I
yay
really
or a
don't care.
nay? Or
I prefer, I go to AMC theaters, as I've said before, so they have the Dolby. I prefer seeing new releases, especially films like this, in the Dolby. So if they have showings there, that's probably what I'm going to see. I really don't care for IMAX too much. So that's great. Good for. I know a lot of people prefer an IMAX, and I should say I don't care for it just because my theater isn't really a true IMAX theater, you know what I mean? So I understand why some people are fans, but for me it doesn't really add anything extra. It's just a bigger screen. Okay.
all right, fair enough. But this is for the people that prefer IMAX
Yeah,
and all that
good
shit.
for
Then this
them.
is exciting. It
Yeah.
just shows like for the future, like oh things are happening kind of thing. So I think that's
Yeah.
a pretty cool thing.
Yeah,
Um,
for them to be setting certain things in stone, at least it's a guarantee that they are moving forward. So that's good.
but yeah, now we get to the probably the biggest story of today. Apparently, Mike Marino, who worked on the Batman, the Penguin,
Woohoo!
and was nominated for an Oscar for A Different
A
Man,
different
although
man.
lost to The Substance, he will be doing the makeup of the Clayface movie, which could lead to certain things. But I'm curious to know your basic thoughts for right now.
I love this man. I breathe the same air as him. I went to the Penguin panel at Comic-Con last year and he was there. He is just as attractive in real life as he is in this photograph. I think
Okay, I
Colin
don't think anybody was
Colin
wondering that.
Farrell Colin Farrell adores him. Colin Farrell was very flattering and said some wonderful things about him. Mike said he got to, and I forget the gentleman's name, unfortunately, said he got to show his idol the work that he had done on the Penguin, and his idol, and again I apologize, I forget the gentleman's name. He's very big in the prosthetics industry, and hair and makeup. But the guy was like very complimentary of what he had done on the Penguin. So I just, onwards and upwards for Mike, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh
Everybody
yeah,
says he's the best in the business right now, and he's the future of special effects. So I mean, and
yeah,
just look at the wonderful work he did on. You would have no idea that was Sebastian Stan
right,
under those prosthetics. So
exactly. I
it's
think
it it
that's
yeah, it speaks
fucking
volumes.
great.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
really, when I saw this news today, I was like, that's gonna be so cool and good for Mike. Good for him.
I think this is great. I mean, it's good. I mean, I just saw like, oh, the A Different Man artist is where I'm like, okay, that's great. But I didn't realize until I saw this specific
Who it
thing where
was,
it
yeah.
was like, oh, he already worked on the Penguin and the Batman. So it's like, okay, that guy is working on this. So, but it
Yeah.
leads to some interesting discussions in regards to Clayface. Now, I know you're not really familiar with Clayface,
No,
but
I know where you're going with this, yeah.
like, so is this guy going to be working on just like is it assumed that Basil Carlo, who we assume is going to be the Clayface used in this film, um is he going to be like is his face going to get damaged? And then on top of the fact, are we going to start out with like more practical effects and then we're going to get the CGI monster? Or do you think they're going to just stick with practical effects and we're not even going to be getting the big clay monster, and it's only like kind of like just like his skin gets fucked up and like can kind of shapeshift, but it's not like a big clay
Um,
monster? I'm curious to know your thoughts on
I know a lot of studios, especially now, especially like after The Substance, especially after, again, what he's done with the Penguin, what he's done with A Different Man. I know a lot of people are leaning more towards practical effects. I think, especially while the AI conversation is still going strong, people
that.
are
Right.
trying to like prove that we don't need that technology,
I'll
that
take it
it
if
can
that
be
means more
done.
practical effects.
Yeah, I it wouldn't surprise me if, I mean, I have a feeling it's going to be a mix of both, right? Because Clayface is supposed to be able to transform and take the form of other people and that kind of thing. So I would imagine it's a mixture of both, but clearly if they're hiring Mike, they're going to try and do as much practical effects as possible, because why waste the man's time, frankly?
Exactly.
So I'm pumped about it. I'm so happy for him. Good for him.
Yeah, I think this is great. I think it showcases like maybe a tidbit of what we're getting. Maybe not only does Basil Carlo, oh, he's an aging actor, but he might because I know in the Batman the Animated Series, that Batman the Animated Series, that's what happened, is that he got into like an accident and he used this stuff to like help him like reshape his face properly. And then eventually, I think he like owed money to the mob or something, and then they like fucking poured it down his throat, and which caused him to like become like the clay
Yes.
monster.
I believe I read that. Yes.
So yeah, I mean it changes per thing, because as I've mentioned before, Basil Carlo was originally just a guy in a mask, and then Matt Hagen was a treasure hunter who found this like pool in the Amazon, researching spiders just before she died.
Yeah.
So, and he fell inside of it and became like this part of this clay monster. And then I think Preston Payne became the third one. And then Lady Clay, I think, was the fourth one. And then like the three of them combined. And then Basil Carlo absorbed their clay powers to become Ultimate Clayface. And that's how Basil Carlo got the clay powers. And then we got like 4 other Clayfaces after that. Because I know Preston Payne and Lady Clay had a kid called Cassius Clay Payne, as a like wink and a nod to Muhammad Ali.
Just a little bit, yeah.
So, and then because of that, he had clay powers, and I think there were 2, maybe 3 more after that that are not very memorable, but those are the ones that I am aware of. But yeah, long history with this character. For some reason, Clayface is the guy that just had like 7 different iterations for some reason. But you have a lot of different designs, a lot of different backstories you can go with. I know the Rebirth run, I like what they did there. They kind of made him like an anti-hero, which is so old nowadays, because it's like, oh, every villain's becoming an anti-hero. Like Catwoman, Poison Ivy, Harley Quinn, they're all becoming anti-heroes. Yeah. So, but the way they did it in Rebirth was very well done, and they explained the origin was like, his dad was like a special effects artist, and then he became an actor, and then he got into an accident, and he used this discontinued like special effects makeup stuff that like got discontinued because it like caused like fucked up shit, like people get rashes and stuff. And then when they discontinued it, like he was like desperate to find it because I need to like have my face again, and then he finds it, but like he's like this whole like crazy thing happened, and like he finds it, but like the police are after him, and then they shoot. I think it was like the clay, like they have like this mountain of like clay supply of this product, and then they like shoot it, it explodes, and then he gets all this stuff over him, and then he becomes Clayface. So yeah, it's very interesting. Happy again, going back to the initial thing, I'm really curious with how they're going to portray this. I'm curious about James Watkins' vision. I'm curious about Mike Flanagan's script.
I truly thought it was going to be special effects the whole way, but now seeing that Mike is attached to it, it's like, oh, I agree. It'll be interesting to see how they do it. So it's going to be cool for sure.
Right. But yeah, great stuff.
Yay.
Super excited for him, and I'm happy he's going like from one great like Batman related thing to another.
Yeah.
But that's enough talking about Batman. Excited for Mike Marino. I'm glad for him. But the last thing we want to do, like, ended on a little bit of a cuter note, is that John Murphy has celebrated his 60th birthday today. Now, as we all know, he has worked with Danny Boyle and James Gunn many a times, and is worked on the score for Superman, because James Gunn confirmed that he had written the score before, they were filming the movie, and they would have his score in the background while they were filming certain scenes to get the feel of his score. Cool. So James Gunn worked with him very closely and is super stoked about working with this legend, and we have a long lineage of great Superman composers. So yeah, I'm stoked for it, and I'm stoked for whatever John Murphy has in store. We got that little bit in the trailer, we got that little bit in the motion poster thing. Now I'm kind of on the fence of having the original Superman theme. Like, I wish they could have done what Hans Zimmer did for Man of Steel, just go completely in a new direction, do something completely different.
No, I mean, people like
But
the familiar themes, though.
they do
I
like it,
don't
and it
mind it.
works
Yeah,
with what they're doing. That's why I don't totally hate it, and it's such an amazing theme. But it's just like
it's
it's a
so good.
new reboot. I wanted to like have them stand on their own 2 feet, especially when this is a movie. You already have like Lex Luthor as the villain. You're doing this thing. You're having Will Reeves, like fucking Will Reeve. Sorry, not Reeves. Reeve, no S. Um, be cameoing in the film. So like, don't
That's
get me wrong,
pretty cool.
Christopher
Good
Reeve,
for him.
bro, is iconic. But at the same time, I also want these Superman movies to stand on their own 2 feet and not rely too much on the greatness of Reeve,
Well,
because
I mean,
then
listen,
that's a
provided
new
it's as
discussion.
good as we're hoping it will be, it'll be, Will Reeve being there will just kind of be like an afterthought. You know what I mean? Like, you might not even you may miss it completely because you're just so wrapped up in the film. So I wouldn't get too hung up on things like that just
Right.
yet. Like, let's wait for it to come out and then
Oh
we'll
yeah,
decide.
I'm just
Yeah.
talking about like
Yeah.
having its own, like, just its own vibe
Identity.
rather than
Yeah.
borrowing
Yeah.
too much from the
Yeah.
most iconic one.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for, today. We had
Woohoo.
a relatively quick show. It was very bare bones today. Again, I apologize for the technical difficulties. Um, but it be how it be.
That's
Just
right.
got to roll with the punches. But
It happened, gang. It
thanks for
happened.
watching, guys. We'll try to have a proper live show tomorrow. But thanks for watching. Thanks for liking, because I know you guys like. I don't know what the number is yet, but it better be in at least the double digits. Like, come on. Then maybe eventually in the triple digits once like more people are watching. But like, make sure to like, make sure to comment. We'll try to do fan comments maybe tomorrow. Subscribe and hit the bell so you know when we normally go live. But that is it for today. Thanks for watching. We love and appreciate all of you. And with that, bat nipples.